Hey everyone, welcome back. Bigelow Reviews. I am Brent Bigelow, and I have a huge review for you, and that is Black Country New Road's second studio album, Ants From Up There. Like I mentioned, this is Black Country New Road's second album, their follow-up to For the First Time, which was an amazing album. If you guys know, for me, writing my reviews out on the Bigelow Reviews website on Weebly, this is one of my favorite albums of the year. I named it my album of the year of 2021. Just an amazing album. Their music is so complex, and just the amazing lyrics from Isaac Wood. His vocal performances was amazing. The band just kicks ass. Really love their music. A lot of either you love them or you hate them. Pretty much when it comes to Isaac's voice. It divides a lot of people. He's not the world's greatest singer by any means. He's not a good singer. I would say he's a pretty sucky singer, but the way he projects his voice and how he just lets the raw anger and the raw vigor of his voice come through when he expresses the lyrics, it's so impactful. He very much carries the band's weight. That being said, it's tragic and it's so sad that leading up to the release of their second album, Isaac left the band 4 days before the release of Ants Up There due to mental health issues. I can only imagine what he goes through because he's very raw and honest on both of these albums. And man's going through a lot. I hope he gets the help that he needs. And overall, his health is the most important thing, obviously. But I am very sad. I was supposed to go see these guys in Detroit at Third Man Records, but the show was canceled because he left the tour, left the band. So sad. I had a whole trip planned, and but hey, at least we got this album, and it's a beaut, man. It's such a good album. Compared to For the First Time, Ants Up There has basically the same qualities that you liked and you would expect on future albums from Black Country New Road. But it's crazy, man. I thought they kind of reached their maximum capacity of sound and depth on the first album, but on this one, they filled in the cracks, they added color, they rounded off the edges. It's amazing what they did, in just in a year's time, which makes the exit of Isaac Wood so sad because I would say this is their best project that they've released. And the album that released last year was, like I said, the album of the year. So it's amazing that they even got better from what they were at before. And a great way to explain the change of sound from one album to the next, I would say For the First Time is like in The Wizard of Oz, where Dorothy's still in the black and white, but then as she opens the door into into Oz or whatever, and it switches over to color. That's exactly what it feels like from listening from one album to the next. It's just an amazing leap from where they were to where they are now, and all that goes really straight to Chaos Space Marine, the very first real song on here after the opener. The song is just happy-go-lucky. It has this positive energy. Isaac comes through laying down some great verses, great lyrics. I mean, throughout the whole album he does. But yeah, having this positive energy on this song is something that you're not used to with Black Country New Road, but it works. It sounds great on them. Happiness sounds good on them. But this song does introduce the theme and the concept of Concorde, which is a British plane that flies really fast. But in the album, it kind of represents the sadness, the loneliness, and the wanting to be with another person that Isaac has, and talks about through this entire album, which has constant themes that kind of go from track to track that carry over from one thing to the next. Which leads into the next song, Concorde, which is an outstanding song. On Concorde, Isaac tries to understand the relationship that he's in, tries to understand what the point is, and it has some really amazing kind of heart-wrenching lyrics to it too. For less than a moment we shared the same sky, and then Isaac will suffer and Concorde will fly, which is just basically Isaac is saying for Concorde to be able to be happy and successful, Isaac has to fall down a rung and not be as important in their life, even though he wants to be up there in the sky flying with Concord and being happy with this person. And reading a little more deeper into the lyrics, there's lyrics talking about how Concord is hungry, but then Isaac says he's starving, but Concord is on Atkins, which is kind of like, in my eyes and how I interpret it, as like Isaac is starving for this person, but Concord's only like a little bit missing them. But at the same time, Concord is talking to other people and kind of trying to make relationships happen with others, even though Isaac's over in the corner. Please be with me, I'm begging you. And how he even talks about, he's like, I was made to love you, can't you tell? It's just heart-wrenching stuff. And then the back half of the song, towards the end, Isaac talks about how in his dreams the Sandman is the only one that's able to keep them together, because he knows it's not going to ever work. The next song after Concord is the track Bread Song, which might be my least favorite on the album, but don't get me wrong, it's not a bad song. I also don't quite understand the idea and how it works into the album. It's also probably the least dynamic of all the tracks on the project. It really doesn't have like the massive builds and the descends. It's still a decent track. It was one of the lead singles that came out leading up to the project. And then following that up is actually Goodwill Hunting, probably my favorite song on this entire album, other than the couple closers on here. But this one's just the straight up just rocker, man. Isaac turns into like a bona fide rock star on this one. It's just a great track. And the chorus on here is amazing. The whole Billie Eilish style. Everyone will say it was cool. Going to Berlin for a little while. It's just so freaking catchy. Like, you'll have the lyrics in your head from this song for like the next year. That's for damn sure. I mean, I find myself singing it just by myself. This song it's so catchy. You just want more and more of it. And how rigid they play too. The bass and the drums on this song are immaculate. Just keeping that backbeat on everything. It's such a strong track. And how it switches from the choruses to the verses and everything. It's such a beautiful song. But the end of the song does kind of have a weird mixing issue, where the chorus gets really loud. Isaac seems to kind of take a backseat. He gets buried in the mix, which is okay. It kind of shows how loud the band is playing in real time. But yeah, it's just a beautiful song. Absolutely great. The next song on here is Haldern, which is actually like, I guess it's based off an improvised track that the band did at the Haldern Pop Festival in Germany. The band kind of like filled out the track, added some lyrics to it, and then threw it on the album, which is awesome. The band does a lot of improvisation on their live shows. It's like a big piece of their identity. So it's nice that they're able to kind of like flex their muscles and put something on the project that represents that style of music that they do. But on the track, Isaac talks about how the introduction of Concord like really like blew his life up and made things better for him. But even just the sheer touch from this person like shatters bones. He's that in love with them, and it's just the emotions that he has are so raw that it's like lighting dynamite. Mark's theme is directly followed after Haldern, which is a beautiful instrumental piece dedicated to saxophonist Lewis Evans' uncle, who was a massive fan of the band and died from COVID. Again, just a beautiful song, very heart-wrenching, which leads into the next song, which is The Place Where He Inserted the Blade. The band says this is kind of an ode to the later half of Bob Dylan's career, where he's doing all these lush instrumentations and it's kind of crooning. To me, this kind of has more of like a Arcade Fire vibe than more so Bob Dylan, but I can see the parallel of me being very much being a Bob Dylan fan. Isaac just pours his heart out on this track while making a sandwich for his loved one and just begging for them to stay, even though he's tried his best to do everything to please this person, but they're just not into it and they just move on. He's like, I'll stroke your dreams better next time for the future, but she just doesn't want nothing to do with them. But again, even the Midwest emo thing on this track is pretty even when it comes to the other songs on here. It's just like that vibe is throughout this entire album. And then after that track, we start our descent into the end of the album with the song Snow Globes. But this song really does begin the end of the album with just the emotional, heart-wrenching couple tracks on here. Isaac talks about how the snow globes represent the memories that he had with this person, but since the person's gone, he's still not whole. He's still missing parts of him to fulfill those memories that he has in his mind. As the song builds, the drums in the background completely just go rogue and just expand and explode. and just play off melody. It's supposed to, like, at least to me, it feels like it's the interpretation of Isaac's internal rage. Just like the inside of him, like he knows that this girl's not going to be around, and he's just frustrated and angry, trying his best to keep it together. Well, he talks about how he knows that snow globes don't shake on their own. It takes another person to help rekindle those memories that he had in his past. The last song on here is Basketball Shoes, which is another amazing and epic song. It's a sprawling 12-minute track. It's worth every single second. The song just slowly builds and crescendos into amazing pieces. Again, the Midwest emo thing pops through again. Just amazing builds, some great guitar riffs. And at the end with these amazing boom guitar strums and like vocal choir and boombastic. It's loud, it's huge, it's amazing, it's outstanding. There's a great live version of it on YouTube, and they even released it, but it's an outstanding song. I recommend checking out. Really just put some headphones on and crank it. It's just an amazing, amazing ending to this album, and hopefully not the end of this band, because I don't know how to replace something like Isaac Wood's voice. I hope he gets the help he needs, but man, there's no way you can replace his voice, and just the way he just shriels on this thing and just like lets it out and just screams and lets all of his anger just flow through his vocal cords onto the track. It's just outstanding, and there's no way you can't listen to that and just feel moved by just the sheer emotion and just this raw energy that he puts out on Basketball Shoes. It's one of the greatest finales I've ever heard, I think, on an album. And I'm not trying to be dramatic or anything, or dramatic, but it's just a great ending. I'm really messing with this album. If you couldn't tell, I like it a lot. There's no way that they're gonna win back-to-back album of the years, but it really might happen. It's early. It's only February, but this album kicks ass, dude. It's so good. I'm feeling a 97 on this one. But what do you think? Put your score down in the comments below. Follow me on Twitter at Bigelow Reviews and 72BrettNerd27. Like, subscribe, share. Check it out, please. And I will see you guys on the next one. Biggie out.